It's a beautiful night in Charleston. From Patriots Point, it's a rematch of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals in the renewed battle for the Old Guard Shield between Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC and Charleston Battery in one of the oldest rivalries in league history. Tonight's match is presented by Cruise Subaru. Cruise Subaru was voted Charleston Choice's best place to buy and import, and Subaru has been named best brand and most reliable brand by Consumer Reports. Go see them today or visit cruisesubaru.com. Cruise Subaru, more than a car dealer. Josh Appel, Chris Nurse with you. And Chris, last time out for Charleston, they bounced back after a poor performance against NCFC. MD Myers scored in his return. Cal Jennings, third straight game with a goal.
Yeah, it was a good performance last week against Tampa. Probably one that put the nail in the coffin for head coach Robbie Newsom, who was relieved of his duties over the course of the week after the defeat to Charleston Battery. But it's going to be interesting to see if they can continue with that form this week, continue to pick up 3 points and climb up the table.
Charleston sitting at 2 wins, 2 losses, no draws. Head coach Ben Pierman, like we said, very happy with the bounce-back performance last week, and they're feeling good about themselves, and this is a long-standing rivalry with Pittsburgh coming into town. So Izzy Sullivan, give us a rundown of the familiarity between these two clubs.
There will be no shortage of familiar faces when the Battery take on the Riverhounds tonight. Pittsburgh are led up front by none other than former Battery striker Augie Williams, who spent 2 seasons here in Charleston. On the flip side, the Battery have a handful of ex-Hounds in their ranks: Langston Blackstock, Nato Santos, Luis Zamudio, and Christian Gardner, all looking to get the better of their former club. With so much crossover, expect some extra fire in this matchup.
Thank you, Izzy. As we take a look at Fleet Feet player to watch tonight, it's Cal Jennings.
Yeah, I think it's really important how Cal Jennings is coming in and fit into this attack so quickly. I think everybody was concerned about how Charleston will continue to evolve in the post-Marcanic era. And I think Jennings coming in with the pressure from Myers, who's keeping him on his toes with the performance that he's having right now, is helping to elevate the level of the attack for Charleston.
And then on the other side for Pittsburgh, Danny Griffin, the captain, back-to-back games with a goal. It's the first time in his career he's done that.
Yeah, Griffin has made himself priceless, a goal-scoring midfielder. Every head coach loves a goal-scoring midfielder who can get themselves on the score sheet in key moments. He's the heartbeat of the team, so important. It's going to be really important to see how he leads this team tonight against a very strong Charleston team.
It's a rivalry that goes all the way back to 1999, and tonight it's renewed for the first time in 2025. Lineups and kick between Charleston and Pittsburgh next. it's a beautiful night in Charleston. From Patriots Point, it's a rematch of the Eastern Conference quarterfinals in the renewed battle for the Old Guard Shield between Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC and Charleston Battery in one of the oldest rivalries in league history. Tonight's match is presented by Cruise Subaru. Cruise Subaru was voted Charleston Choice's best place to buy and import, and Subaru has been named best brand and most reliable brand by Consumer Reports. Go see them today or visit cruisesubaru.com. Cruise Subaru, more than a car dealer. Josh Appel, Chris Nurse with you. And Chris, last time out for Charleston, they bounced back after a poor performance against NCFC. MD Myers scored in his return. Cal Jennings, third straight game with a goal.
Yeah, it was a good performance last week against Tampa. Probably one that put the nail in the coffin for head coach Robbie Newsom, who was relieved of his duties over the course of the week after the defeat to Charleston Battery. But it's going to be interesting to see if they can continue with that form this week, continue to pick up 3 points and climb up the table.
Charleston sitting at 2 wins, 2 losses, no draws. Head coach Ben Pierman, like we said, very happy with the bounce-back performance last week, and they're feeling good about themselves, and this is a long-standing rivalry with Pittsburgh coming into town. And so Izzy Sullivan give us a rundown of the familiarity between these two clubs.
There will be no shortage of familiar faces when the Battery take on the Riverhounds tonight. Pittsburgh are led up front by none other than former Battery striker Augie Williams, who spent 2 seasons here in Charleston. On the flip side, the Battery have a handful of ex-Hounds in their ranks: Langston Blackstock, Nate Dos Santos, Luis Zamudio, and Christian Gardner, all looking to get the better of their former club. With so much crossover, expect some extra fire in this matchup.
Thank you, Izzy. As we take a look at Fleet Feet player to watch tonight, it's Cal Jennings.
Yeah, I think it's really important how Cal Jennings is coming in and fit into this attack so quickly. I think everybody was concerned about how Charleston will continue to evolve in the post-Marcanic era, and I think Jennings coming in with the pressure from Myers, who's keeping him on his toes with the performance that he's having right now, is helping to elevate the level of the attack for Charleston.
And then on the other side for Pittsburgh, Danny Griffin, the captain, back-to-back games with a goal. It's the first time in his career he's done that.
Yeah, Griffin has made himself priceless, a goal-scoring midfielder. Every head coach loves a goal-scoring midfielder who can get themselves on the score sheet in key moments. He's the heartbeat of the team, so important. It's going to be really important to see how he leads this team tonight against a very strong Charleston team.
It's a rivalry that goes all the way back to 1999, and tonight it's renewed for the first time in 2025. Lineups and kick between Charleston and Pittsburgh. Next.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, Michelob Ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo.
Dance like nobody's watching. Except when people are watching, like your roommate and the new boyfriend you forgot she was bringing over. Believe in yourself. But know your limits, because right before an interview really isn't the time to try being a hairstylist. Anything is possible. So yes, winning is possible, but so is not winning, which means sometimes the best way to play actually is to save some possibility for another day. The South Carolina Education Lottery, supporting better players and a better you.
Return to the field. Score the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
Back post, Torres scores! Ball comes out, Rodriguez! The box, but MD Myers scores!
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. Tonight's walkout is sponsored by The Ideal Life, the title sponsor of the Charleston Battery. Welcome back to Patriots Point. Josh Appel, Chris Nurse with you as we get set for the battle for the Old Guard Shield. Charleston Battery, the home. As we take a he's out tonight, unavailable for selection, but it's nothing long-term.
Last year's Defender of the Year, Smith, is going to be a big loss, but it's going to be interesting to see how they evolve. Obviously, it's not just his presence as defender, it's his leadership on the pitch, his communication. It really has a big impact.
How about for head coach Bob Lilly? They're still trying to get Augie Williams going a bit, but Mertz and Griffin there in the midfield have been excellent.
And obviously, Dick in goal was a goalkeeper of the year last season also. Both teams play a 4-2-3-1 formation, so it's going to be interesting to see how they cancel each other out. But as you spoke about Williams, so far this season he's been lacking service. It's going to be interesting to see how they worked on things throughout the course of the week to try and provide him with more quality service in and around the 18-yard box where he can get shots on target.
We're about ready to get going in front of a great crowd. Patriots Point tonight. Eligio Araguin is our referee, and he gives the okay, and we're underway. So glad you could be with us tonight. As Charleston tonight tries to win back-to-back matches for the first time in 2025. This one comes all the way down. Charleston in the black, Pittsburgh in the white. Similar colors, so this is nice on the eyes here tonight, Chris.
Yes, I think an important thing to note is the temperature tonight in the 60s allows the game to be played at high tempo. It allows the players to press without getting fatigued. We know in a couple of weeks' time, once things heat up in the summer and the humidity kicks in, the game can look a little bit different, a little bit slower, a little bit more methodical and patient in build-up. But it's a perfect conditions tonight for a fast, attacking, fluid performance from both of these teams.
Time now for tonight's MUSC injury report. MD Myers and Allen both in the lineup tonight for Charleston. Of course, Myers made his season debut last week on his birthday, coming back from injury. Scored in the 73rd minute on a header off a delivery from Chris Allen. No injuries reported for Pittsburgh. This is Biasi, the USL Championship Team of the Week back in Week 3. Most duels won on the team. Dos Santos giving chase, former Pittsburgh Riverhound. As we heard from Izzy earlier in the show. Plenty of former players from each side on both teams.
Yeah, I think it's important to elaborate a little bit on what may be driving Jennings' form right now. I think 4 goals in 3 games. Myers is in the starting lineup alongside him. In general, all players are competitive, but strikers generally have a little bit more of a competitive, greedy edge to them in terms of numbers. They want to be the top goal scorers. They want to have the most shots on target. You saw Myers come into the game very late and score his first touch last week, and I think that for Jennings is an inspiration or motivation that he has to be on top of his game. The two of them are going to continue to drive and push each other over the course of the season, and that's one of the top things about having competition in places, is that you have somebody right behind you or alongside you day by day in practice that keeps you on top of your game. You can't afford to take your foot off the gas. Sometimes when you don't have the competition, you can become a little bit complacent because you know that you're the main guy and you're going to play regardless. But I think the combination of Jennings and Myers is fantastic for keeping this attack as fluid and potent as it's been in the opening 4 games of the season so far.
Yeah, they're together up top tonight, together for the first time starting in 2025. And we talk about the fire and the passion that comes from players in that spot. We talked to Ben Pierman about some of the fire and passion that Cal Jennings showed last week after he scored on a penalty against his former team, Tampa Bay. He said he loved seeing that. The guys really feed off of it. And these are 2 teams with high expectations. They met up in the postseason last year. And Bob Lilly, Ben Pierman, 2 of the top 5 longest tenured coaches in the league at this point. Not going to see many surprises from either side, Chris, but there's a ton of respect for both rosters. I mean, Ben Pierman talked about how he thinks Pittsburgh's one of the better teams in the league this year. Bob Lilly, conversely, was complimentary of the midfield, calling it one of the best groups in the league as well. Tonight's keys to the game are presented by Cruise Subaru, the official automotive dealer of the Battery.
Neither of these two teams have got off to an explosive start to the season. Both have just won 2 games, but I think it's important to note some key trends that have come across when they've won those 2 games. So for Charleston right now, when they've scored the first goal, they've gone ahead to win that game. So for Charleston, today's key to the game is obviously getting that first goal. Has been consistent so far with them season. We're getting 3 points. For Pittsburgh, on the other hand, the key to them getting 3 points has been when they've been able to keep a clean sheet. When they've kept a clean sheet so far this season, they've walked away with 3 points. Despite both of those wins coming at home, even away from home, if they're able to keep a clean sheet, there's a higher consistency that they're going to be able to walk away with 3 points. So for both of these teams, the key for them is getting 3 points. One's based on keeping a clean sheet. For Charleston, it's based on getting themselves first on the score sheet.
This is a classic Bob Lilly squad here for Pittsburgh. They've allowed only 8 shots on goal by the opposition in the first 4 games of the season. Tied for the second fewest goals allowed, just 3. FC Tulsa best in that category. They've conceded only 1 time in 2025.
Yeah, these teams kind of cancel each other out. If you look at things from a Charleston perspective, they've scored more goals. If you look from things from a Pittsburgh perspective, they've conceded less goals. Both teams currently sit on +1 in goal differential. So 2 very evenly balanced teams tonight. It's going to be able to see which coach was able to tweak their style of play to be able to get the upper hand over the course of the 90 minutes.
And I just love the matchup, strength versus strength. MD Myers, Cal Jennings against this back line for Pittsburgh that just flat out doesn't give up a lot of opportunities to the opposition.
Yeah, and I think that if you know that if you're going to score goals or create opportunities against Pittsburgh, you're going to have to work for it. It's not going to be a game where they're just going to give you opportunities through slack play or lackluster defending. It's going to be a game where you're going to have to be very good in your ability to break them down, switch the point of attack, and the timing of through passes and the runs in behind. You're going to really have to work for those opportunities. So it's going to be very, very important. And we know they're both capable, that Jennings and Myers, when they do get the chances, they're clinical. Because it's maybe not going to be the game when they get 5 or 6 chances each. It may be the game when they just get 1 or 2, and they've got to be clinical in order to give Charleston the upper hand in this game.
Pittsburgh on the move. From distance, and it whistles wide. Augie Williams, they're trying to get him going in the goal-scoring department. Scored in the opener against NCFC. Even his first season here with Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Scored 10 times last season for Indy 11. And he and Cal Jennings, 2 of the most prolific active goal scorers in the league. But Augie still trying to find his fit and his footing in Bob Lilly's system.
Yeah, Augie Williams just pulling the trigger from 25 yards out from goal. They're just missing the framework. But Bob Lilly did speak about him working very hard in training. He's doing the right things in training. In games, they just need to provide him with better service. He's not completely judging him. Of course, strikers are judged on goals scored. But he's not judging him solely on that right now. He thinks he's pressing very well for the team. He's working hard for the team. He's defending from the front very well. And he thinks the goals will come once his teammates around him are able to provide him with the service that is required, because he's proven goal scorer throughout the league over a number of years. So Bob Lilly's generally pretty happy right now with Augie Williams. But as the games tick on, he's going to start to demand goal scoring output also.
It does feel like a matter of time. A guy with that much talent who's been there, done that in this league. This is a rematch of the quarterfinal of the Eastern Conference playoffs last year, as Jennings tries to come up and grab it, but Eric Dick, aggressive off his line, clears it away. It's a 1-0 win for Charleston. By Nick Marcanic, propelled Charleston to that 1-0 victory. Pittsburgh was able to muster up just 1 shot on goal on 13 attempts.
I think both of these teams find themselves right now in 5th and 6th in the USL Championship, and I think expectedly so. If you're Charleston and you lose Marcanic, you've got to find a way to evolve, reinvent yourselves, and that 30-something goal output, you have to find a way to not to replace that, but to redefine how you play or how you go about being successful in the attacking third. For Pittsburgh, on the other hand, you lose a legend of Canado forms. And
Yeah.
it's not just what he brings on the pitch in terms of his assists. It's the leadership, it's the energy, it's the mentality. Somebody that's been so important to the organization for so long. You don't just replace players or forget about players in a team like that in the first 4 games. It takes time to build the chemistry, the cohesion, to get an understanding. I think one thing is for both of these teams.
And the first big chance of the night, Williams, both hands to his face, as we take a look at the replay presented by MUSC Health.
Williams showing his attacking threat here, just creates half a yard of space to get the shot off. I thought he would have been better going across the goalkeeper here. So much space on the other side of the goal, but he goes at the near post and Zamudio pulls off a great save, pushing away from a corner kick. But Augie Williams has been a lively threat in these opening 10 minutes for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
So Robbie Mertz delivers it in, and the whistle blows. Augie Williams got called for a foul. Osu Landry went down. Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Your group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. Visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more and plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. Packed house tonight. Big fan base here in Charleston. These are 2 clubs that have been battling each other north of 25 years. Dates all the way back to 1999 when they were members of USL A-League.
And I think we have to give the organization, but also Ben Perman, a huge pat on the back for what he's accomplished with this group. The reason the fans are here in the stadium is because of the success that the team has had since he's taken over, provided a structure and resurged this organization to be the name that it's been for a long period of time. And I think the fans seeing success on the field, seeing a style, a brand, a mentality that they're proud to represent, is why you're now feeling the presence of that 12th man again in those home games. So I think you have to give Ben Perman and the staff and organization a big pat on the back for bringing Charleston back to one of the top teams in the USL Championship once again.
Yeah, Perman in his 4th season. Eastern Conference champions in 2023, made it to the Eastern Conference final in 2024. Last season, the best in club history. You just got to look at Emilio Icaza, a match high 8 duels won, and their win over Tampa Bay. This is the start of a busy stretch for Charleston. 4 days, 2 games. We got the Open Cup 3rd round coming up right here at Patriots Point on Tuesday. .7:30 start.
I think sometimes
Tormenta FC, the opponent.
I think sometimes with this Charleston team, because of the likes of Jennings, Myers, Torres.
There is Myers. Now Juan David Torres. His service was deflected.
Sometimes we can lose sight of the impact that players like Malloy and Icaza have on this group. So important in the middle of the park, in their on the ball, but also their off the ball working, whether it's occupying spaces, defensive work here. We see Icaza tracking back to make tackles. Sometimes that dirty side of the game, or maybe the side of the game that's not highlighted much, can go unspoken, but I think a lot of that is why we speak about Jennings, Myers and Torres so much, because there's players that kind of do the unspoken work behind the scenes.
Myers giving chase. Suber there. Suber wins that battle. You mentioned Aaron Malloy, the 28-year-old Irishman, led the team in chances created last year. He's one of the best 2-way players in the entire league. All you got to do is look at 3 straight all-league first-team selections. The only player in USL Championship to have that to their ledger. This is a guy who missed a lot of time last year because of injury. fully healthy this year. And look, this Charleston roster really scary when they're at full strength. And again, we said it at the outset, no Graham Smith tonight, the defending Defender of the Year in 2024. Pittsburgh trying to get moving. Jackson Walty. Now Biasi. Sumanu, third start of the year. And now Charleston applying the pressure, and they take it away. Tried to get it to Juan David Torres, but couldn't. This is Malloy, and he lost it. Now Danny Griffin, the captain, hounded from behind. Mertz for Griffin. Goal is in back-to-back games. Griffin has it taken away from behind by Chris Allen. Allen in tight quarters, able to work it free.
Great work there from Allen in the middle of the park. Sometimes you see defensive midfielders track back there and they'll either dive in too early or they'll put a nudge in the back and give away a free kick. Allen does a great job of tracking back but being patient and picking the right moment to poke his toe and win back possession of the ball.
Chris, earlier we talked about Ben Pearman was unhappy with the team's performance against NCFC before they bounced back with the victory against Tampa Bay. Ben Pearman candidly told us, hey, that's on me. That was poor coaching. And there's something to be said about a head coach who's going to bat for his players even when the performance wasn't up to par.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing what he may tell us, it's another thing what he may tell the players behind a closed door in the locker room, but it's always commendable. I mean, it's kind of expected that the coach has to stand out and take the heat and take the pressure off the players, especially so early in the season when they're still figuring things out. It just helps the players to feel a little bit more confident and comfortable. If he starts pointing the fingers at the players so early, sometimes you can lose them. Not every player has the stomach or the mentality to be able to deal with that. So I think he's emphasizing his man management skills of knowing when to put the brakes on and when to go hard at his team.
Williams goes down, but he will get called for the foul. By the way, don't forget USL Championship on CBS Sports Network tomorrow. 5 p.m. Eastern kick. Birmingham Legion and El Paso Locomotive. Life without Tom Sohn for Birmingham.
Starting to hit that point of the season. I feel like it's an early point in the season. We're starting to see their heads rolling in terms of team players in coaches in charge of teams. We spoke a little bit earlier about Robbie Nielsen being relieved of his duties at Tampa Bay Rowdies, but a team with the expectancies year over year.
Here's Jennings. Suber trying to cut him off and does, but it will be the first corner of the game for Charleston. This corner brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm, the official legal services provider of the Battery. Great job by Suber there. First one of the night for Charleston, an in-swinger towards the back post. Comes all the way through. Augie Williams was defending on MD Myers, and Myers couldn't make a play on it, so it's out for a goal kick as we see Aaron Malloy. He's played every minute so far this season. Such an important piece to Ben Pearman's squad.
Speaking about Robbie Nielsen being relieved of his duties at Tampa Bay Rowdies, they currently sit at 9th in the USL Championship table with just one win. Tonight they face off against top of the table with Loudoun, but I think it's a strong message from the organization that they're not comfortable being outside of the playoff positions at any point in time. They're a team that wants to compete for #1 in the championship, not content with just making the playoffs, and that's the level of expectancy at the organization.
It's the Pittsburgh native, Mertz. His pass taken away. Allen stepped in front of it, and now it's Juan David Torres with room. David Torres ahead for Jennings. The flag stays down. Cal Jennings, he goes down. And Eric Dick scoops it up.
It's a great through ball here from Torres. He releases it. It's exactly the right moment. If he releases it any later, Jennings is offside. I thought Jennings could have just let this run across his body a little bit more, taking it onto his left foot. Then he would have taken out the defender here.
Juan David Torres coming off a breakout 2024. This year leads the team in shots and chances created. As you pointed out, an excellent ball ahead to spring Cal Jennings, who timed his run well, but it's a good recovery by Pittsburgh.
I think Jennings just taking out on his right foot allowed Osamanu to get back goal side of him. I think if he takes it with his left foot across Osamanu, he takes him out of the game, and then he's free to slot it into the back of the net. But the timing, the weight of the pass, everything from Torres was perfect. With that kind of service, the strikers are going to be happy all day. They're going to get chance after chance. But Torres is a player that, we spoke with Ben Perman, he has the ability to convert chances for himself, but he also has a great ability to create for his teammates.
He scored off a free kick in the opener against Lou City. A class finish in that one, and a really difficult end to that game in which Charleston feel like they deserved a bit better. Arturo Rodriguez received a red card in that second half, and eventually Adrian Perez snuck one by Luis Zamudio that Zamudio would have wanted back. I mean, Charleston was on their way to at least getting the point in the opener against Louisville.
I think one thing Ben Perman alluded to with Torres is that his creative mind and his ability and his attacking ideas are far greater than that of the head coach. So he has to allow him the freedom and the space and the support to be creative in those moments. Whether he feels like he needs to drop deeper to create for his teammates, or he feels like he needs to occupy higher pockets of space, he allows him that freedom to be himself and to play with creativity and all the flair that he delivers on the pitch on a consistent basis. And I think that's why we're seeing so much positive attacking output from him in these opening 5 games of the season so far.
Yellow issued to Juan David Torres. Here's what happened. And that right arm got up chin area of Jackson Walty.
Not sure I'm in agreement with that decision, but
you saw Leland Archer, the captain, pleading his case, but they will not win that argument with Eligio Araguin.
I think a friendly exchange of hands there insinuates it wasn't malicious or intentional there from Torres.
This one cleared off by Zamudio, former Pittsburgh Riverhound, one of a handful on this Charleston roster that used to play for Bob Lilly.
I think with Augie Williams up top for Pittsburgh, it does provide them with an outlet. Obviously, Charleston like to press very high, which means on the counter-attack, the spaces can be exposed behind if you have somebody who's quick enough and fast enough on the counter-attack to expose those spaces. Augie Williams obviously has that ability, but he has to be provided with the right service at the right moment when Charleston are pressed high to be able to take advantage of that.
Former Hound Dos Santos, nice job a moment ago against Augie Williams on that long ball. Some trouble. Let's defer to Zamudio. So Landry. Myers couldn't get everything he wanted on it as he went to the ground and slams down in frustration.
I thought Myers may have been offside there, but again, Torres finds himself pinned out on the touchline, under pressure, finds a way to keep possession of the ball and then keep playing passes forward. Normally, another player with a little less ability passes that backwards, it goes back to the centre back and maybe even back to the goalkeeper. Torres still finds a way to find that forward pass. If it didn't skid off the surface, that's going in straight to the path of Myers, and we know his goal scoring abilities in and around the 18-yard box. But again, it's that attacking eye and that ability for the killer pass from Torres.
Eric Dick. Charleston player right in front of him, so his only option was to send it away. As you get a look at Ben Pierman, 2022 USL Championship Coach of the Year with Memphis, left 8 days later, hired by Charleston, and there's been a lot of success since he took over here.
Yeah, he's been able to bring structure, organization, discipline, a clear style of play, an identity for players that he wants to recruit and the players that they're playing in. And as we spoke about, man management, you don't get the best out of players like Torres if you're not able to manage their character and give them the freedom and the ability to create without being fearful of a retribution for taking risks.
Mertz, Bobby Mertz lays to the outside, low cross in front, Williams! Oh, he's been close 2 or 3 times tonight, and he couldn't get this one on frame. But I guess, Chris, the good news is that the opportunities have been plentiful in the first 25 minutes.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy that this is offside in all honesty, because he's getting great service here. Bob Lilly spoke about him not getting service. He does get service here. He just needs to convert. Whether he's onside, offside, he needs to get in the habit of putting that into the back of the net. And sometimes that can be an issue with confidence with players when they haven't been having the luck in front of goal or the confidence or the ability to convert chances in front of goal that they really would like. Sometimes when those easy chances come along, they're not able to convert them as fluidly, as easily as they are normally. But I think it's good. They're in the right spaces, creating opportunities. Now it's about being more clinical.
Off the feed from Juan David Torres. Jennings a bit too heavy on the touch, and it deflects into the hands of Eric Dick, the reigning goalkeeper of the year, Golden Glove winner from 2024. First team All-League, team record 14 clean sheets, and he's already got 2 this season. 1-0 win over Hartford, 2-0 win against Birmingham. Juan David Torres.
Torres trying his signature touch there earlier when the ball was played diagonally, bringing it out the air with his left foot behind his other leg.
Torres again, he goes down, and a free kick opportunity here coming up for Charleston. This free kick scoring opportunity is brought to you by ProLift Garage Doors. Another ProLift free kick here for the Battery.
Be interesting to see who takes this. Looks like Malloy is winding himself up to take it, but we know that Torres is definitely a danger from these dead ball situations, whether it's corners or direct free kicks. He's proven so far this season that he's got the hot foot.
His 1 goal came on a free kick in the opener. Malloy and Juan David Torres stand over it. It's Malloy who takes, he goes for goal, and it goes wide.
Dick not really troubled by this effort, has a clean eye on it the whole way. Was always going out of play there after it bounces.
An ambitious effort. One maybe that Malloy will want back. We are scoreless here into the 28th minute in this first half. Battle for the Old Guard Shield.
Looks like Dick here just taking the responsibility. Pittsburgh have struggled a little bit against Charleston's press to get out from the back when they put the ball down on the floor, and Dick here just opting to get his defense up a little bit higher and take a direct free kick and play a little bit longer, which is sometimes what's necessary. If you realize Charleston are throwing so many bodies forward and you're not having the success playing out from the back against them, you've got to try and dominate the possession a little bit higher up the field.
I'll tell you what, it's only been about a half an hour, but this matchup, Sean Suber marking Cal Jennings. Suber's done a nice job in this first 28 minutes.
And I think it's important to note some of the players that we have back coming into this roster for Charleston. Segba's obviously a very, very strong attacking player on the bench tonight for the first time in a long time.
Charleston building up. That shot blocked. And now it's Allen for Dos Santos.
And also Langston Blackstock returning to the subs tonight for Charleston Battery. So 2 very, very important players who are going to add depth to this roster as the season continues.
Blackstock missed the last 2 weeks with injury, spent the last 2 seasons with Pittsburgh. Myers, Ikaza, Juan David Torres. Crosses one in and all the way to Eric Dick, who falls on it.
You can feel the energy from Pittsburgh. They know that their backs are against the wall a little bit. They're not pushing the intensity or the urgency in terms of play at the moment. They're much more willing to slow down the tempo of play, kill the rhythm of the play, because they know that at the moment Charleston are having the upper hand in terms of ball possession and chances created. So they're just taking the time a little bit to allow their team to regroup and get organized.
Osu Landry. Myers, Juan David Torres, too far out of the reach for Ikaza, and Pittsburgh can take over. Walty gave it right back though, and it trickles away.
Right now for Charleston, offensively, everything runs through Torres. For Pittsburgh on the other end, Augie Williams has had a few individual solo efforts in and around the attacking third, but there's not really been any build-up play that's led or created to those opportunities, or any player who's got in possession and been consistently the one feeding him through the middle of the park. And I think they've got to kind of identify their means of going about breaking down this Charleston team, because as you can see from the back, there's some easy turnovers to Charleston, and the waves of attack keep coming time after time, and it's only a matter of time before we see the opening goal.
Bob Lilly did not like that whistle. Apananu for Ikaza. Apananu getting the start tonight in the absence of Graham Smith. Apananu had only entered tonight having played 7 total minutes in 2 appearances. You mentioned some of the injury issues in Langston Blackstock, you would imagine, or Mark Segbers maybe be on that back line, but they're not fully fit. Available tonight, though. It's the youngster Aponanu, 23-year-old, who gets the chance tonight. Here's Biasi. Osamanu. Mertz went down, play rolls on. Ikaza. Looking for Jennings. Flag stays down. Cal Jennings! Big save, Eric Dick. It's sitting there on the doorstep, and MD Myers just couldn't put it home.
I think the first thing we need to highlight here is this ball from Ikaza is absolutely insane.
Eric Dick slow to get up as well.
Recover the ball well here, driving forward. Takes his first touch forward with the outside of his foot. Bends this in between the 2 defenders, right into the path of Jennings. Settles himself his first touch, and he's got to slot this home into the far corner. He doesn't quite hit it as clean as he would have liked. Ooh. And then the follow-up is into the side netting. Myers, I think it is, with the follow-up. Yeah. A man of his caliber. Both of these two. First chance, you're expecting Jennings to bury that. The second chance, Myers, for sure you're expecting to bury that chance.
And poor Eric Dick. He gets wrapped around the post there after that. But they survive, so we're still scoreless.
That's not one, that's 2 great chances there for Charleston to take the lead.
The Battery are back in action here at Patriots Point in league play on May 3rd as they take on Hartford Athletic. Tickets for that match are on sale now via SeatGeek, the official ticket provider of the Battery. Get yours now. Don't forget, Charleston will play a 3rd round U.S. Open Cup match on Tuesday, April 15th. That's this week coming up. South Georgia Tormenta FC, the opponent in round number 3 for Charleston.
I think when you're talking about service, strikers getting service, when some of the balls forward that Torres has been able to play, and some of the passes that we've seen played from Ikaza, as a striker, you want players behind you all day who can provide that level of service to you. You know you're going to get chance after chance. Of course, for Ikaza, you may be a little frustrated if your strikers aren't putting them away, but hopefully over the course of the 90 minutes, they can make amends for these chances that they've not converted in this opening 35.
It's been an entertaining half to this point. Collision there. Ikaza and Bradley Sample collide. Both are okay. Dos Santos, nasty fall backside. He went to leap and play that. We might get a booking here. Eligio Araguin is calling someone over.
I think it's important to always highlight the top players do have the capabilities to be able to operate in different positions. We've seen Torres operate on the highest line. We've seen him drop deeper into maybe the 7 or 11 position. We've seen him sometimes operate even the 10th position. And the same for Ikaza. He can operate centrally in the 10th position. Or we've seen him at times like today, drifting out and operating from the left-hand side, or at times operating from the right-hand side. I think that's the way that the game has evolved, where players can be so fluid in their ability to interchange positions. It's just a strong indicator of players with an essential, I'll lose my words, a great amount of talent. Trying to be too smart.
Oh, by the way, no
exceptional,
card.
exceptional.
Ah, there it is.
Get it out, exceptional amount of talent.
No card, by the way, for Luke Biasi. Just a stern talking to from Eligio Araguin. An exceptional talking to. Here's Juan David Torres. Takes a deflection. Dos Santos wanted to line it up instead. Now defers to Ikaza. Ikaza for Landry. Juan David Torres steps into it. Off target.
Torres finds himself inside the box. Again, his first touch creates his opportunity. Just wondered if he had the space to open up his hips and try to bend this into the far corner. Again, he opts to go into the near post area. Didn't really trouble Dick with that strike, but you wonder if he'd chosen to go across goal in that situation, what the outcome could have been. Even if Dick gets a hand on it, I don't think he's holding on to it.
Myers over to Jennings, but the flag is up.
I'm not sure about this one. I'll be interested to see the replay. You're starting to see the chemistry between Myers and Jennings. It's Myers who wins the flick on. Jennings makes the run in behind.
Bob Lilly, the legend. They have not missed the postseason. Under Bob Lilly, 7 straight seasons qualifying.
Of course, Pittsburgh known for being very compact, tight, organized, disciplined, defensive, but Charleston have opened them up well a good few times in this opening half. They've had some good chances with the ball in the back of the net with some clinical striking. Charleston could be up 2 goals already. Of course, Augie Williams also has had a few opportunities himself, but the majority of the play has been in favor of Charleston in this opening half.
It does seem like there's a little extra in this Charleston attack, and of course there should be when you add a goal scorer like MD Myers, who put up 17 across all competitions last year. I mean, I know Nick Marcanic is a tough guy to replace, but Cal Jennings, about as good as you can do.
And from Pittsburgh, of course, Charleston are missing Smith, their leader, defender of the year. If there's ever an opportunity to have a go at this back line, it's tonight.
Pittsburgh boy, Robbie Mertz. Inzer. Quick whistle before Mertz is given the okay. Mertz, before the off week against Birmingham, scored his first goal of the season, was on the team of the week. He's got the most goals for any Pittsburgh native for the club with 19. He's a goal and an assist away from the 2020 club. Towards the back post, Williams went down. Dos Santos flicks it up into the air, and Charleston. Oh, Jennings fanned on the clearance attempt. Now Dos Santos able to work it over to Juan David Torres. Now Ikaza. Charleston did a nice job handling that. And Apunanu.
Great footwork there from Ikaza under pressure. Just manipulating the ball well to keep his team in possession.
Down the left side, too much for E2. And a throw in here for Charleston in the 39th minute. Despite the 0-0 scoreline, handful of chances for both in the first half. Two quality sides battling in the Old Guard Shield, a rivalry that goes all the way back to 1999. 24th all-time meeting. But how about that number? 62-38 in possession for Charleston.
Yeah, I think sometimes the numbers don't tell a true reflection of what we're seeing in the game, but I think they're pretty accurate from what we've seen so far in this opening 40 minutes. Charleston have had the dominance of possession. They probably created the better chances. However, Pittsburgh have shown that they can be dangerous on the counter-attack, or when they get the odd opportunity through Augie Williams. There's been 2 or 3 Augie Williams opportunities that really have been threatening, but in terms of controlling play, build-up play, through passes, dictating the tempo of play, that's all been in favor of Charleston in these opening 40 minutes.
So a decent free kick opportunity here for Pittsburgh. Robbie Mertz, who led the team in assists last year, only the second time since 2018 that someone other than Kennardo Forbes led the Hounds in that category. Forbes, of course, now an assistant on Bob Lilly's staff. Mertz's delivery comes all the way through, took a deflection off of Charleston, and then the follow-up gets all the way through. Bradley Sample gets Pittsburgh on the board first.
And of course, completely against the run of play. Just as we were talking about how Charleston have been dominating in terms of chances created, possession, controlling the tempo of play. A dead ball situation ends up being the defining factor in the one statistic that matters most in giving Pittsburgh the go-ahead goal. Ball ricochets off kneecaps here. So much bodies in the box makes it so hard for Zamudio to see it coming through, and it just trickles into the back of the net. And Pittsburgh, despite against the run of play, find themselves ahead with a go-ahead goal.
One of the keys to the match, Chris pointed out earlier, Pittsburgh scoring first. They are 2-0. When they do that this season, they have not won when conceding first. Now the home side, Charleston, is behind.
Well, the key to the game for Pittsburgh is keeping a clean sheet. When they keep a clean sheet, they win the game. The key to the game for Charleston was scoring
because Pittsburgh, yeah.
So now we're going to see this could completely flip. If Charleston are able to get themselves, if they do go and get the 3 points tonight, they would have done it for the first time this season when they haven't scored the first goal.
Trying to answer right away. Here's Jennings around the keeper. Cal Jennings just trickles wide. It just feels like he's going to bury one tonight, Chris. He has come close on a few separate occasions.
And I think that's the defining factor for all the good play that Charleston have had. They need to convert these chances. They'll be kicking themselves that they're down in this game, given how well they played in the chances they've created. But one thing in soccer games, you don't always get what you deserve. You have to make those moments count. Otherwise, you can find a situation like this first half where you, on paper or statistically, you may have been the better team. But right now, you're losing.
Jennings, 3 straight games with a goal, 4 total over that span. He's tied for first in the league with Abdelatif Abukura of Loudoun United. That cross deflected, flick towards Jennings, save made by Eric Dick. They cannot solve him tonight.
Another good opportunity. Another great opportunity. You'd expect the ball bouncing there, edge of the 6-yard box. Dick's doing nothing but pulling it out of the back of his net, but again, we're seeing why he was goalkeeper of the year last year, because at the moment, whether it's good finishing, bad finishing, he's coming up with some absolutely massive saves right now for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
That's another Pepper Law Firm corner kick for the Battery. Not sure how many more keepers in the league are making that stop.
Sometimes we are too hard on attackers and we say he should have scored, but sometimes it's absolutely brilliant goalkeeping, and maybe we have to give Dick a little bit more credit for still having his team a clean sheet right now, because there's been some chances that Charleston really should have had in the back of the net.
Juan David Torres whips it in, comes all the way out in front, and the whistle blows for a foul on Charleston, much to their chagrin.
I think that goal for Pittsburgh will be a complete punch in the stomach for Charleston. Just when they thought that they were having the upper hand, they were creating, They were dominating play, and then you go and concede a goal. It completely takes the wind out of your sails and deflates you a little bit. But to be honest, they have responded well. Since that goal, they've gone and had 2 good chances. Myers running behind, and then Jennings, this one that was just saved on the line. They've responded well, and they've continued to create chances. They just lack the clinical touch in front of goal tonight, which is surprising because we both know that Jennings and Myers both have that capability.
24-year-old Sample with the 1 goal matches his total from last season.
I think
Santos.
there's one thing to highlight, that the chances are coming, the service is coming, the opportunities are there.
Yeah, so what would your message be if you're Ben Pierman at the half? Because largely, I would imagine he's happy with the performance. Just a matter of finishing off on their chances.
I think he just has to. I think he will be happy with their performance. He just has to ask them to continue to believe, maybe to tighten up a little bit defensively, because on the transition, Augie Williams has been dangerous in a few moments. Set pieces, they have to focus and make sure they win those second balls, because essentially that's what has them down a goal. It was a second ball that came out, and then it found its way into the back of the net, and they're defining moments in and around the 18-yard box. So I think he'll be content. You know, as coaches, you always demand more from your team. You're never complacent. You'll continue to ask them to continue what they're doing. They're creating the chances. Just be a little bit more clinical, a little more patient and calm in front of goal, and just a little bit more focused defensively on transition moments and the second ball in and around set pieces.
Whistle blows on Charleston as the 4th official has indicated 3 minutes of MUSC Health Sports Medicine stoppage time in the first half. G2 just went down and drew the whistle. And for Pittsburgh, Chris, how long do you think they can kind of hang on and face this pressure? Of course, they are one of the best defensive teams in the league. They were last year as well. So it is their comfort zone.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing is, and Bob Lilly alluded to this week, they've been good at home. They've won their home games. However, when they've been on the road, they've either picked up a point or they've lost.
They're winless so far, 0-1-1.
I think they're not here to entertain the Charleston fans. They're here to be effective and efficient. So it'll be interesting to see if he tweaks his formation and they go to hold on to the 3 points. If they stay ambitious and they look for more goals, I think the minimum they're looking to walk out of here with is a point, but ideally they're looking to take all 3, especially speaking of the rivalry of these 2 organizations. It's a derby. It's a little bit different from a regular game. There's a little bit more passion, a little bit more emotion involved.
A lot of history between these 2 clubs as Juan David Torres turns back. Usu Landry. Aponanu. Dos Santos.
I think there's one thing Charleston can draw confidence from. One of the best defensive teams in the league. They've created some very, very, very good chances, and that's not easy. And we spoke about, if you're going to get chances against this Pittsburgh team, you're going to have to work for them. They have worked for them. They've created them. They need to take them. That's the one thing they haven't done so far in this opening half.
Ikaza comes all the way through. Landry trying to chase it down. He does. You see a run of 7 in a row for Pittsburgh. Juan David Torres. Not sure if that was a pass or if he was just mishit it, but he gets it back. Fires it forward. Jennings not ready for the deflection, and a point to the spot.
I'm not sure I'm in agreement here. Torres just trying his luck to create something here. I'm not sure there's much here that warrants a PK. And there was actually no protest from Jennings himself. He didn't jump up, throwing up his arms, asking for a penalty kick either. I think that it's a little fortunate to get this one, but could completely change the fortunes for Charleston going into the halftime break if he's able to convert from the spot here.
Massive moment for Charleston. Cal Jennings has scored in 3 straight, scored on a penalty against his former club, Tampa Bay. One of the most prolific scorers of all time, 10th all-time in USL Championship in goals scored against the Golden Gloves winner from 2024, Eric Dick. Can Cal Jennings equalize? Long stare down. Cal Jennings, oh, he fired it high! nothing. And that is the halftime whistle.
Wowzers. It's been one of those halves for Jennings. We spoke about Myers keeping him on his toes and keeping at the peak of his game. But look, all strikers go through these moments. I think it's important to note that Torres, towards the end of the half, he had a couple of elaborative shots that were from anywhere, and he's the one who shoots this ball, ricochets, and ends up creating a penalty kick for his team. They get an opportunity to get the equalising goal just before half-time, and again, they've wasted it. And I think that is going to be Ben Perman's first thing to address is, hey, we need to take the chances that we're creating.
Almost feel the air come out of the fans here at the stadium. Almost shocking that, not that Jennings didn't score, but that the ball ended up 1-0 at the half to the visiting side, Pittsburgh. One of the oldest rivalries in the league. It's Riverhounds 1, Battery 0 at the half.
Charleston is located in the low country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else.
This place is magical.
Return to the field. Score the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
Declare your purpose at Charleston Southern University, offering a wide range of undergraduate degree programs, including majors like aeronautics, engineering, business, and education. CSU is committed to providing you with a biblical worldview and a cutting-edge education. The campus experience includes Division I athletics, small class sizes, intramural sports, and more, all at the only Christian university in the low country of South Carolina. Join the Buccaneer family and apply today at charlestonsouthern.edu.
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Halftime is brought to you by The Ideal Life. Beautiful night in Charleston. And who doesn't love a four-legged friend? The Battery players and coaches, they celebrate a National Pet Day at Patriots Point with their pups. Let's check it out.
Yesterday was National Pet Day, and the Charleston Battery players and coaches celebrated with their pets. I caught up with the squad and their furry friends at Patriots Point. Let's check it out.
This is Gus Malloy. He's ginger, so it was meant to be. He's a long-haired mini wiener.
So a little hot dog?
A little hot dog, yeah.
And I saw you have the little Harry Potter leash over there. What Harry Potter house would you say Gus is in?
Yeah, and he's definitely a Slytherin. Slytherin for sure.
I have the big boy here and have the Chihuahua here. His name is Lee.
Are they best friends?
They're good friends, but not best friends.
What is both of their favorite snacks?
They like zucchini a lot.
Zucchini?
Zucchini, yes.
That's an interesting one.
Yes, they like zucchini.
The big one's Rufus. He's about 4.5, golden retriever, and then this puppy is Fred.
If they were to play soccer, what position would they be?
Fred's got energy up and down as like a wide player, fullback, wingback, winger. Rufus, he would probably be the equipment manager.
This is Moose. He is nearly 5 years old. He's Aussie lab mix. He is so food driven. He will eat absolutely anything outside, on the floor, anything in the garbage, at home. Yeah, he's always a hungry boy, let's put it that way.
So this is Milo. We adopted him from Palmetto Paws 10 months ago.
What's his favorite thing to do?
His favorite thing to do is snuggle. When he's with Dad, Dad never gives him food, but Mom always does. And she gives him everything. Popcorn, yeah, it's bad. Pretzels, whenever I come home, Milo loves pretzels.
Graham, who's your little bestie right here?
This is Opal. She's an Australian Shepherd Border Collie mix.
What is her favorite snack?
Cheese.
Cheese. What's her most mischievous habit?
We'll go to the beach a lot.
Uh-huh.
Go to Sullivan's Island, and she'll like roll around, but she'll keep her eyes open, and she gets sand in her eye. That was a tough vet visit last year.
Her name is Gigi. She's roughly about 6 months.
What's her favorite thing to do?
She enjoys walks.
Can she do any tricks?
She can probably sit. Gigi. She is very preoccupied.
Oh.
Oh.
Good job, Gigi.
Yay!
Wait, come back! Wait, come back, I need more help.
Take a loan off it. Take a loan for free.
Today we went to the beach and it was totally worth it. Stay 2 nights, get a $50 Best Western gift card.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
Oh, and he finds the back of the net. Birmingham's on the board.
Overhead kick and it's in. 4-1 Locomotive.
Take a loan off it. Take a loan for free.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything. Stay 2 nights, get a $50 Best Western gift card.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, Michelob Ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo.
Halftime here at Patriots Point, 1-0 Pittsburgh over Charleston. Halftime is brought to you by The Ideal Life. Josh Appel, Chris Nurse with you as we take a look at our USL Championship news and notes. Third. Some live scores, Lexington and Las Vegas scoreless. Las Vegas scored in stoppage time to win last week. Knight Pickering did the honors there. Are they in for some late drama there as well? The aforementioned Loudoun, they're 0-0 at the half with Tampa Bay. And then FC Tulsa, which has only conceded 1 goal this season. That's best in USL Championship. They are scoreless at home with Oakland Roots. Here's what's going on the rest of the night around the league. Monterey Bay, one of the surprise starts this season, takes on the defending champs tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. Orange County hoping to rebound after that late defeat to Las Vegas last week. Another 10 o'clock start. Phoenix Rising, Detroit City FC also at 10 o'clock. And then tomorrow, 5 Eastern, CBS Sports Network, Birmingham Legion, El Paso Locomotive. We'll be back in just a moment here from Patriots Point. Get you some stats, some highlights, and more. Second half kick as well. 1-0 to Pittsburgh at the break.
Return to the field. Scored the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. Welcome back to Patriots Point.
Against Dick, but Jennings, even if this is American football, that's still going wide.
Just a shocking attempt from the man who sits alone for 10th all time in goal scoring in league history. Here are our halftime stats brought to you by Spinks. 10 shot attempts, 3 on target for Charleston, 4 and 2 for Pittsburgh. You see Charleston dominating possession in the first half, but they find themselves behind as we begin half number 2. Josh Appel, Chris Nurse with you. Battle for the Old Guard Shield. Charleston trying to win back-to-back matches for the first time this season. They started with a loss to Louisville 2-1. Clean sheet victory in week 2 over Rhode Island. A disappointing performance at North Carolina, 2-1 defeat on March 29th. Bounce back last weekend with a win over Tampa Bay. Now tonight, try and earn the 3 points and come from behind fashion.
Yeah, I think it was important to note after Charleston did go down, they did respond well and created another couple of chances before the end of the first half, but again, were unable to convert.
Myers closest one there for Charleston. Of course, we welcome you back to Patriots Point for second half action, brought to you by Cruise Subaru, the official automotive dealer of the Battery. Check them out at cruisesubaru.com. Cruise Subaru, more than a car dealer. MD Myers scored on his birthday last week, fresh off the bench. His first start in 2025. 17 goals across all competitions last year and got off to a wonderful start a week ago. And right off the jump, Charleston earns themselves a corner kick, brought to you by Pepper Law Firm.
Just a couple of statistics to re-emphasize the dominance that Charleston had in that first half. 7 of the 10 shots that they had were from inside of the box. They have had 12 touches inside of the box in comparison to Pittsburgh's 2.
Off the corner, put in. Pittsburgh does well with that. And then the foul is given a little bit late. Pittsburgh might be lobbying for a card there, but no card issued. Ritu is the one who took the spill.
Charleston have had 50 passes in the final third compared to Pittsburgh's 16.
I just feel like it's a matter of time before Charleston break through. Pittsburgh was looking for more, but E2 had his not well hit cross taken away, and then Juan David Torres sends it all the way down.
I think that the statistics can help to paint the picture of whether you're playing well or maybe achieving your game targets. But as we all know, the one thing that matters at the end of the game that everybody wants to see is the scoreline, and right now that is in favor of Pittsburgh. So irrespective of what the statistics may tell us in the story, the score remains 1-0 in favor of Pittsburgh, and I don't think that they would be concerned with any statistics if the game was done right now. But there's still a long time to play. A number of players who can come in from the bench and have an impact.
Remember, no Graham Smith tonight for the home side. Reigning defender of the year. Picked up a knock. Nothing long-term according to Ben Pierman, but not suited to play tonight. Whistle finally blows there.
For Charleston, this is an opportunity, the second of 3 consecutive home games that they will have. Then they will go on the road to Indy and Naples, and then they'll return home to play Hartford. So it's important that they continue the trend of winning those home games. So important in terms of building momentum, picking up those points. This will not be a welcome sight from head coach Ben Pierman.
Oh, that is Juan David Torres, one of the best playmakers on this team. So important in the midfield. He's down, holding that ankle.
I would go as far as to say maybe one of the best playmakers in the league right now, let alone on this team.
Ben Pierman hoping for the best with his talented Colombian 23-year-old Juan David Torres in his second season here with Charleston. Again, the Open Cup, that's next on the schedule for Charleston right here at Patriots Point on Tuesday night, 7:30. South Georgia Tormenta FC. Juan David Torres is still down for Charleston. Now he's been helped up to the sideline, and hopefully he is able to return. Back ready for play. Juan David Torres, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, is ready to come back in a moment. Goal by Bradley Sample in the 41st. Cal Jennings has been stonewalled a couple of times out in front by Eric Dick, and also sent a penalty shockingly high. Saw the opportunities, but for a scorer as prolific as Cal Jennings, not used to seeing an attempt like that. Yeah, Juan David Torres back on the pitch.
We're surprised about the number of chances that Charleston had created, but none were able to ripple the back of the net. And I think that penalty kick just kind of summed up the first half in terms of the ability to convert chances. They kind of need to have a reset during the break and then go again in the second half. Just a little bit more composure and calmness in the attacking third and reflecting the players that we know they're capable of being in front of goal.
Eligio Araguin giving a talking to after this foul. And gives us a moment to tell you about the Battery's brand new 2025 kit. It's on sale now in the stadium at Patriots Point, and it'll be available online as well, courtesy of Hummel, the club's official jersey provider. Check out the full line of new Battery gear, including customizable 2025 kits, by visiting shop.charlestonbattery.com. Throw in here for Charleston. All the way back for Zamudio. He's getting his real first bulk playing time as a starter in quite some time in his career. And Pierman happy with his development this season. Had that shaky goal that he allowed Adrian Perez of Lou City from distance that somehow got by him in the season opener, which turned out to be the difference in the match. Charleston was playing down a man, but outside of that, he has had a solid start for the 2025 campaign.
I think he's optimistic to see the way Pittsburgh have started the second half. I was intrigued whether they were going to try and park the bus and play almost 4-5-1 and defend their one-goal lead, or if they were going to continue to push forward and try to create. And it looks like they've opted for the latter, to continue to push forward, knowing that one goal may not be enough against this Charleston team, and continue to try and find more goal-scoring opportunities. I find that when teams do drop back so early in the game, they absorb a lot of pressure and eventually end up conceding goals. I think that at 1-0 with still so much time, it's better to stay on the offensive rather than to drop back defensive so early.
And it's asking a lot of a club to park it a bit for an entire half, especially when it's against a team like Charleston with the kind of firepower they have and the goal-scoring capability. Malloy. Now Allen got an assist in the game against Tampa Bay on the goal by M.D. Myers in Myers' return. Leland Archer, the captain. Longest tenured Charleston Battery. Juan David Torres. Malloy. Aponanu getting the start for Graham Smith tonight. Aponanu leading it forward. Nice job stepping in front of that.
I think there's a little character test for Charleston in this game. And despite not being their best in front of goal, if they can still find a way not to lose this game. I think a strong trait of teams is, even when they're not having their best day, they find a way either to win or to not lose the game. And I think that's going to be the test in this second half. Okay, first half, they haven't been great. They've created a number of chances. They haven't been great in converting. But can they still find a way to take something from this game, especially being at home? As Bob Lilly alluded, that home games, you have to try and pick up 3 points if you want to be one of the top teams, you want to be a championship team. Away games, you know, can you pick up at 1 point, can you pick up 3? That's kind of the formula that top coaches try and use. Of course, you want to win every game, but you have to also be a little bit realistic.
Myers goes down, was outside the 18. Myers coming back to it. And he'll get whistled for a foul.
Yeah, you can see Torres on the right-hand side a little bit frustrated. He wanted that ball released to him a little bit earlier. Myers held on to it a little bit too long, and the opportunity went astray because, and this is where the frustration a little bit is building up.
Do you think that might be a little bit of rust there for MD Myers?
No, I don't think it's rust. He comes in last week, he scores on his first touch.
Oh, of course, but still, it's his first lengthy playing time, first start of the year.
I think he's a striker, and he just looks for opportunities to score for whatever reason. There's just days that you just can't explain certain things happening. On another day last week, first touch, goal. Today, they probably had 5 or 6 good chances, and they've not been able to hit the back of the net. Not discrediting a Dick in between the sticks, but for the expectancy, the level of talent and ability that these two players have up top with Jennings and Myers, their chances you'd be expecting them to convert. That's why they get paid the big bucks.
Augie Williams, speaking of big bucks, he is carded.
I think more so for accumulation of fouls. I think the referee gave him a warning the last time about a number of maybe challenges just a little bit late, nothing malicious or dirty, so to speak, that warrants just an out-and-out yellow card, but maybe the accumulation of infringements.
Walty goes down.
As we spoke about, Ben Perman does have a number of returning players to his bench tonight that he will be looking to get into the game, whether it's to accumulate game fitness so that they can continue to contribute later on in the season, whether it's to change the outlook of this game. A number of players available for maybe 10 to 20 minutes, even a little bit longer for some, so it'll be interesting to see around the 60, 65 minute mark if he starts to bring in some of those players returning from injuries.
It's an unfortunate bounce for Charleston, and it's out for a goal kick. It's Emilio Icaza, University of South Florida alum, native of St. Pete. Became a fan favorite after his legendary postseason run in 2023, propelling Charleston to the final. Scored in both the quarterfinal and the semifinal in that 2023 journey. This match almost an hour old and the only goal scoring tonight. Bradley Sample his first of the season in the 41st minute of the first half. And you gotta wonder, Cal Jennings is thinking about that penalty attempt that he sent about 30 feet over the bar on the last kick of the first half. You know he wants some redemption. Been quiet to start this half. It's just a bit too far for Icaza.
It's interesting because in the first half, Torres was seeing a lot of the ball and he was making things tick for Charleston. In the second half, whether the Charleston team has stopped finding him so frequently or Pittsburgh have adapted to eliminate the spaces that he was having as often.
Look at the expected goals.
He's not had as much as touches on this ball in the second half as he did in the first half.
I mean, almost 2 XG for Charleston. And you saw that number, 0.17 XG.
Walk away with points even on your worst day. And maybe for Pittsburgh they could say, okay, we didn't dominate possession, we didn't play as fluid as we like, but at the moment they're finding a way to win the game. For Charleston, there's many things that they could maybe look at from a positive perspective, but the most important one of finding a way to win the game is what they've got to figure out over the remaining 30 minutes.
Leland Archer just got booked with a yellow.
I'm probably going to disagree on every yellow card that
has there been one that you've agreed with?
I'm not sure what he does wrong there. He stays on his feet. He goes to ground way after the tackle. It's not like he goes off his feet before the ball is won, but
I'll make sure we send Eligio Araguin a strongly worded letter on behalf after the match.
I like the physicality in the game. I like the tackles. I like the competitive nature. I think if yellow cards start to get given to everything, then you take away an element of the game that's part of the excitement of why we watch it.
Nearly given away by Pittsburgh. Sumanu. This is sent all the way down. So Riverhounds right now, back-to-back clean sheets against Hartford and Birmingham to end the month of March. Now they're over an hour into this one without conceding. Osu Landry whips it in. A little bit too tall for Myers. Allen keeps it alive. Ikaza chests it down to himself. He goes down right at the edge of the 18, and play rolls on.
You could argue, in line with any of the other free kicks that be given, that could be just as equally as much as an infringement as anything that we've seen so far in this game. But you see the importance of winning those second balls. Pittsburgh win the first header and the ball falls to Ikaza just outside the box, and that's where the danger is. That's how Pittsburgh ended up getting the go-ahead goal in the first place. The midfielders, Wati, Godrach, Myers, Malloy, Ikaza, that's the danger area where midfielders have to take care of those second balls.
So a corner kick brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm, as Charleston is in search of the equalizing goal. Service comes in towards the back post. It's over everybody. And Aponanu cannot get there before it crosses for a goal kick. Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Your group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. Visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more and plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. Flicked over the top, the race is on. Augie Williams trying to get there, and Zamudio well off his line. Clears it away. Supporters here in Charleston trying to will their team to an equalizing goal. Mertz. Juan David Torres. Quiet so far in this second half. Was active in the first 45. Ikaza. Slipped a moment. A little bit inaccurate for Allen, but Ikaza with a massive motor ends up earning a corner.
And similar to Torres in the first half, when he starts pulling the trigger towards the end and creates something out of nothing, or creates his own luck. Similar to Ikaza here, just chasing probably a 70-30 ball that he's got no business getting on the end of. Ends up winning a corner kick for his team. Rather than allowing the opponents to have possession of the ball and rebuild their attack, he keeps the pressure on and creates his own luck through his hard work and his intensity.
Another corner kick brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm, the official legal services provider of the Battery. Is this the moment for Charleston? Samples goal in the 41st for Pittsburgh. Juan David Torres. Cleared away. Out for a throw-in.
Torres really does deliver dangerous dead balls.
That one takes a deflection off of Pittsburgh, and the Pepper Law Firm is going to be thrilled because it's another corner kick.
Consistently swinging into that dangerous areas where defenders have to be at the top of their game to deal with it. One lapse in concentration and it's into the area that strikers love to attack in the near post area. It's whipped him with pace, bend, dip.
Here comes, here's the back post, the whistle before. We'll see our first substitutions tonight. In the 65th minute, Aiden O'Toole will come on to replace the goal scorer, Bradley Sample. Job well done for him tonight. Scored in the 41st minute after a free kick pinball around in the penalty area. Came out to him, took another deflection, and then found its way through. And Max Broughton will also enter, and he replaces Augie Williams. So Williams scoreless again tonight after scoring in his debut with Pittsburgh. And Broughton comes on for him. And Charleston getting set for a substitution. I'll relay that to you when it's appropriate. Josh Appel, Chris Nurse with you from Patriots Point. It's been a tightly contested one here. Charleston dominated the majority of the first half, conceded off a bad bounce late in the half. Cal Jennings missed a penalty, unlike any miss you'll see from a player of his quality.
Interesting substitution there to see Williams come out. We spoke about maybe having a indifferent start to the season in front of goal. He hasn't got himself on the score sheet tonight. And the best strikers, even when their team wins, if they come off the pitch and they haven't scored, they're not as happy as they could be in those situations. It's a trait that's indicative of top strikers, that they want to be on the score sheet. Even when the team wins, they want to contribute by getting themselves on the score sheet. And he hasn't managed to do that tonight, despite there's been a good 25 minutes left in the game. So it's interesting that Bobley's chosen to take him out. But maybe it's indicative of now starting to apply a little bit more pressure and ask more from him in the attack.
Malloy tees it up, Malloy! The equalizer that Charleston have been in search of. First of the season for Malloy. What a strike!
Big players show up in big moments, and Malloy had done exactly that. Again, Torres with a penetrating pass, but Malloy from the edge of the box. Dick doesn't know what to do with his hands. They go up, they come down, they go up, they go down. But this buries and finds itself in the top right-hand corner of the goal. Fantastic strike from Malloy. We spoke about the priceless ability of goal-scoring midfielders, and Malloy has come up with an absolutely fantastic strike there when his team needed it most.
Malloy makes it 1-1. Nice little back heel flip as well from MD Myers to set him up. First of the season for Malloy. That Battery goal is brought to you by Diamonds Direct, the official jeweler of the Battery.
And I think it's obviously always going to be harsh to criticize a keeper with the caliber of Dick, but his arms go up, his arms go down. I just think that Malloy catches him at a moment when he's not quite set and ready for the strike, and he just wasn't able to react from a positional standpoint. Flies past him into the back of the net. It's rejuvenized this Charleston crowd. Now we're in for a very exciting closing 22 minutes of the game.
By the way, Johnny Klein did come in for Emilio Icaza for Charleston. That substitution brought to you by Publix. All right, Charleston on the move again.
You wonder if that's Ben Perman keeping one eye on the fixture midweek, because Icaza has been fantastic in that midfield tonight. But he's covered a lot of distance, a lot of ground, and obviously knowing that they have that midweek game coming up, maybe he needs to protect him just a little bit. And Klein is a player who is capable of coming into this game and positively affecting the offense.
Came over in the offseason, was most recently with St. Louis City SC in MLS. Myers goes down, foul given, and a free kick scoring opportunity coming. Brought to you by Pro Lift Garage Doors. When you get the free kick here coming for the Battery.
When you get the chance to see a goal again, you'll see Torres again drop into deep positions, and the pass that he plays breaking lines to create the opportunity for Malloy to find space to finish. Again, all of the best opportunities for Charleston have always had something to do with Torres in the build-up.
Torres will stand over it here. As Charleston equalized in the 67th. Looks to grab the lead. Torres for goal! Put back out in front. Dick somehow keeps that out. And it will be a corner brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm instead.
We've spoken a few times about Torres' ability from dead ball situations, and he displays it again here. Dick at full stretch to keep this out of the back of the net. Reacts ever so quickly to the rebound to get back to his feet and stop Klein from putting Charleston ahead. Fantastic goalkeeping.
That corner missed everybody. The woodwork was Dick's best friend, and as he was on his backside, able to keep that out. Golden Gloves winner, goalkeeper of the year from a season ago. that clean sheet streak for Pittsburgh comes to an end.
Great strike from Torres from the dead ball situation.
I mentioned it earlier, he scored off a free kick against Lewis City in the opener. And that one hit the woodwork. Nearly gave Charleston the lead moments after they equalized. And Pittsburgh, we talked about it earlier, they have not lost this year. When scoring the first goal, 7 in a row unbeaten when scoring first. Give it away, E2. And then he ran into Malloy. Foul was given. The Battery are back in action in league play here at Patriots Point on May 3rd. They take on Hartford Athletic. Tickets for that match are on sale now via SeatGeek, the official ticket provider of the Battery. Get yours now. Of course, they do have the U.S. Open Cup third-round match against South Georgia Tormenta FC right here on Tuesday night, 7:30. CBS Sports Golazo, your home for the third round of the U.S. Open Cup and beyond. It's been a great one here tonight. Battle for the Old Guard Shield, one of the oldest rivalries in USL Championship that goes all the way back to 1999. Two of the best coaches in USL Championship. And loads of talent on the pitch tonight.
So our keys to the game have been blown apart.
And maybe even more so. Here's Myers. MD Myers to his left. Tried to go back to his right, but was denied.
If our keys to the game to remain accurate, this game would need to remain as a tie. Charleston have always won games when they scored the first goal. They didn't score the first goal today, so it'll be interesting to see if they're able to turn that around and get the 3 points. For Pittsburgh, they've got 3 points when they've been able to keep a clean sheet. They haven't been able to keep a clean sheet tonight. So based upon that, a tie would be the predictable outcome, but I really don't think that's going to be the case. There's still 17 minutes to go in this game. I think there's another goal, and one of these teams will walk out as the winner tonight.
Maybe it'll be Cal Jennings getting some redemption for that penalty miss at the end of the first half. Maybe it'll be MD Myers in his first start and second appearance since coming off from injury.
I think if you're Bob Lilly, you're re-urging the message to your team. You can't afford to give away cheap free kicks or corners in and around the 18-yard box. Torres' delivery is far too deadly to set yourselves up from dead ball situations. They've got to defend a little bit better, higher up the field, and not allow themselves to be pinned back.
Robbie Mertz and Danny Griffin not on the same page, and so Charleston can take back over with possession. Now, Chris, we haven't said Danny Griffin's name really at all tonight. Back-to-back games for the Pittsburgh captain with a goal. First time he's done that in his career, but he has been held at bay tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a game where they've not really had the bulk of the possession of the ball. The bulk of the possession has been with Charleston, so it hasn't been a game where he's been able to get on the ball and create and essentially dictate and control the tempo of play.
This one put towards goal. Not sure why Eric Dick went and deflected that. That was going wide, and now it's a corner kick brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm instead.
Again, he probably wasn't aware of where he was positioned at that moment. You can see he probably envisioned that he's in between the goal, but he was actually way outside of the goal. He's not taking a risk, but he gives away a corner kick that he probably didn't need to concede here.
Malloy, the goal scorer, will take it. In the 75th minute, knotted up at 1. Right in front of that 2023 USL Eastern Conference Championship banner. Here it comes towards the back post. Dos Santos, the former Hound, was closest to it, but it was defended well by Pittsburgh. Walty facilitates the clear. Griffin is whistled for the foul as he was converging with Chris Allen.
15 minutes to go, and you can feel a sense of urgency from Charleston. They're feeling confident, the momentum's in their favor. They want to get the ball into play quicker. They want to keep the tempo of the game high right now.
Cross comes in. Didn't get a clean look on goal, and it is a goal kick. MD Myers went crashing down.
For Pittsburgh, if you're one of the leaders on the pitch and you realize that right now the flow is strongly in favor of Charleston, maybe you're just trying to slow things down a little bit, kill the momentum, take an extra couple of seconds off the clock, keep everybody organized and disciplined, because at the end of the day, taking a point away from Charleston is not a bad result whatsoever. So maybe you start to look at the bigger picture now and you be a little bit more collective and thoughtful in when you attack and how much you open yourselves up, and maybe try to be a little bit more disciplined and make it more difficult for Charleston to break through you and to be a little bit harder to beat in these remaining 15 minutes of the game.
By the way, you saw that note, MD Myers picking up the assist on the Malloy goal, so he's played in 2 matches, MD Myers has, and he's got 2 goal contributions. A welcome return to Ben Pierman's lineup. Can they create something here? They wanted to start it quickly. Jennings trying to track it down, and it's out for a corner kick. Another Pepper Law Firm corner kick for the Battery. They've had plenty of chances tonight.
It's funny you say create right before Torres, because those 2 words today go hand in hand. His ability to create has been remarkable.
It's a player. Malloy off the side of his foot. Now Charleston reclaims possession. Put back into the area, over everybody. Maybe ill-advised, out for a goal kick.
It's very rare that your stomach drops every time somebody delivers a corner kick, and Torres makes you feel that way. I think Canado Forbes is a player that used to also make you feel that way with his deliveries from dead ball situations.
And he's got a front row seat to this tonight. On the bench for Pittsburgh as an assistant, as they prepare substitutions.
Looks like Bob Lilly's about to make 3 changes, which is interesting because often when we make a number of changes.
Here's Klein, right at Eric Dick, and he handles it.
Making a significant number of changes at one time can sometimes disrupt the chemistry and cohesion, and going into the last 12, they need to stay defensively solid and cohesive. So it's going to be interesting to see the impact that having these 3 changes at one time is going to have on their ability to defend cohesively.
Augie Williams already out of the match. Bobby Mertz now with it. Mertz has E2 making a run down the left side. E2 met by Landry, and Landry does an excellent job. Kept alive though, Usumanu. Over the top. Griffin trying to chase it down against Leland Archer, who boxes him out and wins it for Zamudio, who clears. Miss hit. Archer's got to track it down before it goes out for a corner. And an unfortunate deflection for Pittsburgh, because that's a goal kick and they get it started quickly. They want these 3 points. Charleston does. They won't be satisfied with just 1 here tonight.
But they're pushing the tempo of the game. Which is why it's so important for Pittsburgh to be on the same page collectively, because 1 or 2 players aren't switched on in the same way, and Charleston are ready to take advantage of those gaps and those spaces in transition moments.
Give and go, unsuccessful. Allen tracks it down. Aponano filling in for Graham Smith, the defender of the year. First start of the season for Aponano.
Even with the chances missed, this has been a very entertaining game tonight.
Absolutely. Juan David Torres comes out in front for Jennings! Redemption for Cal! 4 straight with a goal. And it puts Charleston on top.
My initial reaction was offside, but the linesman's flag stays down. Again, it's Torres with providing the through ball, but it's a great run from Jennings here. Diagonal run behind, and he makes amends for the chances missed in the first half by coming up with the chance that matters most, and it's the go-ahead goal in the remaining 10 minutes of the second half.
The Battery goal brought to you by Diamonds Direct, the official jeweler of the Battery. As Pittsburgh makes some substitutions, this game has been flipped on its head here in the second half. One more look brought to you by MUSC Health.
I think he's onside. It's you can get a better view of it. Looks like Broughton who's kept him onside there. And he makes no mistake with this opportunity. Slides it across the goalkeeper into the side netting. Pivotal moment for Charleston. They've been banging on the door and they've finally broken it down to get themselves in the lead.
In the 80th minute, Cal Jennings, his 5th of the season, 4th straight with a goal.
Torres again providing that service. The ball's weighted. The ball from Torres is weighted to perfection. You can see Jennings doesn't even need to change his stride. The ball's perfectly delivered into his path, and he just needs to guide it into the far corner of the net, and he does exactly that. 5 goals in 4 games for Jennings?
Yeah, and guess what? I was just going to see, because he came in tonight tied with Abdelatif Abukura, the player of the month in the Golden Boot race. I was curious to see if Abukura had kept pace. Both of them have scored tonight. So now they're still tied with 5 each. As you see, Pittsburgh has made 3 substitutions.
And I just glimpsed it looked like the Rowdies are down again.
Yeah, 1-0 in the 85th.
Not a great start to the season for Tampa Bay Rowdies whatsoever. A franchise that we're used to seeing in 1 and 2 positions from start to finish.
Free kick opportunity here for Pittsburgh as now they look for the equalizer.
And it's interesting because Bob Liddy was about to make those 3 substitutions before they went down a goal, and he stayed true to it. That he's made the same substitutions. Nothing's changed since they went down a goal. So it's interesting to see if these were already offensive moves that he was planning to try and maybe get the go-ahead goal. Now they're trying to get the equalizer.
Garcia with the delivery in, cleared away. So Garcia comes in for Beto Idrak. Pablo Linzoain comes in for Osumanu. And Jason Borghi comes on for Robbie Mertz, which is an interesting substitution considering Mertz is one of the better playmakers for Pittsburgh. So Williams is out, Mertz is out, and Pittsburgh is in search of the tying goal on the road in the final 7 minutes post stoppage time.
Yeah, what's interesting, when Jennings makes the run, the centre backs aren't aligned, so one's a little bit deeper, which keeps him on side. He is ahead of the closest defender to him.
As we see the former Hound, Langston Blackstock, return to the pitch after 2 weeks missed with injury. This substitution brought to you by Publix. We love subs, the place to get your favorite Publix subs and all your tailgating needs, Publix.com. He comes on for Cal Jennings. That's a straight-up defensive substitution, trying to protect this 2-1 lead in the final 6.5 minutes. Cal Jennings had so many chances in the first half, including a penalty in stoppage time in the first half, and it would probably go down in his mind and a lot of the folks who have watched him play for so long. It's one of the more egregious misses he'll have from the spot, but he more than makes up for it in the 80th minute on the feed from Juan David Torres to give Charleston, the home side, the lead in the first edition of the Battle of the Old Guard Shield here in 2025. Malloy and Jennings, 2 big names on this Charleston club. MD Myers, Juan David Torres factoring in as well on the goals.
Kevin, I think one thing about top players is they have to learn to forget quickly. If Jennings dwells on that penalty kick and he lets it stay in his mind and in his feelings and emotions for the remainder of the game, maybe he doesn't finish that opportunity or even make the run to get the opportunity with the conviction he does. Top players find a way to forget those moments quickly and move on to the next, and I think that's the characteristics or the mentality that he's displayed there, and he's come up with a big moment. Nobody's going to be talking about the 3 chances that he missed when he goes and gets the winning goal, and I think he'll be grateful that Torres provided him with a service, and I think his teammates will be happy that he was able to convert on this occasion because they know he has the quality and the capability.
Juan David Torres again, trying to line it up, but it was blocked. Cal Jennings, 10th all-time for most goals in league history, all alone with now 70. He's now chasing Jorge Herrera, who has 72 for 9th all-time. 86th minute, 4 straight games with a goal for Cal Jennings.
I think for Pittsburgh, they gave away a lot.
Speaking of giving it away, in transition, here comes Malloy in the middle. As Myers alone to the near side and could not get it to him.
All right, I don't want to take away credit from Charleston by saying that Pittsburgh gave away chances, but Charleston created a lot of good chances against this Pittsburgh defense, which is a little bit of out of characteristic. Normally they're so tight in their chances that they give up. But Charleston created so many good chances. It was only a matter of time before they broke through. You could either give Charleston credit for the way that they've attacked in this game, or it's an investigation into the defense of Pittsburgh to see why they allowed so many goal-scoring opportunities in today's game.
Time winding down at Patriots Point, 87th minute. The goal in the 80th by Cal Jennings, redeeming himself for the miss on the PK in the first half. As Charleston in front and in control, and honestly, the situation and the position they deserve to be in with the effort they've had tonight.
Yeah, we spoke about sometimes in the game you don't get what you deserve. But I think they stayed consistent. They continued to create chances, and inevitably they overturned some of the lack of fortune that they had in the first half. And if the score remains it is, I think Charleston do get what they deserve in the end. And they've worked for it. They've had to work for it. For Pittsburgh, on the other hand, I think they also get what they deserve also. They've not been fantastic tonight, despite getting the go-ahead goal. They've given a lot of chances to Charleston, or Charleston have been able to create a lot of chances, which are a little bit uncharacteristic of this defense and this team, that they've been able to give up so many clear-cut chances. And they've not been fantastic in the way they've built in terms of possession of the ball. So I think if the score remains, both teams would get what they deserve tonight.
Pittsburgh had come off of 2 consecutive clean sheet victories. They were up 1-0 into the 68th before Malloy equalized, and then Jennings in the 80th. Can Pittsburgh muster up a push in the final minutes here? Charleston probably feel as if they could have more than 2. Eric Dick stood in the way of a lot of those chances. I'll say on his stat line that he conceded twice, but he was magnificent tonight for Pittsburgh. This one's put into the mixer, cleared away by Charleston. Out to Jackson Walty. Walty finds space. Walty to his right. Walty out in front. Never got a shot away.
Walty just waltzing through the center of the park there just a little too easily.
Juan David Torres, a magician with it. So good tonight, so good this season. I would be surprised to see his name on the best 11 at the end of the season.
And it's interesting because he's back doing defensive work deep in his own half, willing to put the hard work in for the team. Sometimes attacking players with his level of ability switch off defensively and occupy little pockets and don't contribute to the defense so much, but he's putting a tremendous shift tonight.
That ball comes over the top, and it's fallen on by Zamudio. We'll see how much stoppage time the 4th official grants. Will determine just how much time Charleston will have to defend and how much time Pittsburgh will have to try and find the equalizer, but they have not threatened all that much in this half. Robbie Mertz, Augie Williams have been subbed off. The 4th official has indicated 4 minutes of MUSC Health Sports Medicine stoppage time, as Charleston makes a couple more substitutions, brought to you by Publix, the place for game day subs and all your tailgating needs, Publix.com. As Juan David Torres comes off, he is tonight's Fix-It 24/7 man of the match. He didn't get the assist on the first goal, but he got that build-up started, got the assist on the go-ahead goal by Cal Jennings, as Torres and Myers come off here in stoppage time.
Yeah, I think it was a tremendous performance tonight from Torres. His ability from dead ball situations, his willingness to take risks, his ability to track back defensively. He takes the game by the scruff of the neck, and it was pivotal to the most important moments that they had offensively in the course of the game, whether it was creating the opportunity for the penalty kick in the first half, the through balls that he's provided, outstanding performance from Torres. But I think there's a number of players who had outstanding performances tonight also. I think Malloy has been extremely industrious in the center of the park. I think Ikaza was excellent when he was on the field. So I think all around it was a very, very good performance. But I think Torres, he just has that X factor that fans love to see, and he comes up at big moments. And tonight, there's a couple moments when his team needed him, and he stepped up.
Mark Segbers, who missed the first 4 games with injury, he makes his 2025 debut here to protect the lead at the end. Jackson Conway comes on for MD Myers. Those are the public substitutions for Ben Pierman here in stoppage time. Charleston downhill at home in the second half. Took it to the 68th minute when Aaron Malloy struck one through. And then Cal Jennings with a redemption on a feed from Juan David Torres. And that is Charleston Battery soccer to a T. Those 4 names that you see contributing to the goals tonight: Aaron Malloy, MD Myers, Cal Jennings, Juan David Torres.
And then you look at the names coming in off the bench, and they're bringing big guns in off the bench, and I think flexing their artillery. They're just exuding the depth in their roster that as the season goes on, the potential is there for them to only get stronger.
Talking about Langston Blackstock, Johnny Klein, Mark Segbers. They were without Graham Smith tonight. They were without Arturo Rodriguez, Douglas Martinez. I mean, there is so much depth. Yeah, Graham Smith, yep.
I think when you start to see them going on a run and picking up points, it sends a message to the rest of the league that they have to be on alert and watch out.
This team has responded very well after that disappointing defeat against NCFC. 2-1 over Tampa Bay last week. And tonight, they are about a minute from the winning back-to-back games for the first time in 2025.
And they've responded well to going down to the first goal. We said that the games they've won so far this season has been when they've scored the first goal. They didn't score the first goal tonight, but they responded well. They continued to create chances, and they found a way to get back in the game. And with 30 seconds remaining, it looks like they could get their first win this season when they haven't scored the first goal, which is a test of character, and I think one that they could potentially pass with flying colours. We'll see. Still a little bit of time left.
All put into the area. Comes out to the edge of the 18. The shot was blocked and then cleared away with the head by Johnny Klein. That final whistle coming at any moment now. Never got all the way over. And now Husu Landry. Long ball. Klein. Johnny Klein. His shot match. The final. Cal Jennings, the game winner on the feed from Juan David Torres.
I don't think anybody can argue that Charleston got what they deserved tonight. It was a very strong performance against a Pittsburgh team that can be very hard to break down, and they broke them down many times throughout the course of the game. So I think well done to Charleston Battery tonight.
Back-to-back wins for the first time this year for Ben Pierman's club. Pittsburgh remains winless on the road, a tough defeat tonight at Charleston. We'll come back and wrap things up for you here from Patriots Point after this.
What's that really good non-alcoholic beer I keep hearing about?
Do you have that really great non-alcoholic beer that I keep seeing?
Do you have a non-alcoholic beer that actually tastes good?
It's athletic. You're holding it.
You mean athletic? You're looking at it.
I think you mean athletic.
It's athletic. Ask for it.
Return to the field. Score the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
final score tonight brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm. Charleston Battery victorious 2-1 over Pittsburgh Riverhounds as they salute their supporters at Patriots Point tonight. As we take a look at our full-time highlights brought to you by Publix, Josh Appel, Chris Nurse with you. Chris, a fun one here tonight from Patriots Point. And it all started late in the first half.
I think Ben Perman will be happy with the way his team responded after going down a goal. Second balls, we speak about how important these are to win in and around the 18-yard box specifically. Sample does well here, just guides us into the far corner with a little help of deflection.
His first,
the go-ahead goal.
Yeah, his first of the season, matches his total from last year. And then in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, Cal Jennings brought down by Eric Dick in the penalty area. He's awarded a PK opportunity, and Jennings airmailed it. And it wouldn't be the last time we hear from him.
High and wide of the goal after being given a gift just before half-time to level things up. Wasted.
In the 67th minute, off the initial feed from Juan David Torres, the backheel flip back to Malloy, and this strike equalized at 1 in the 67th.
Great strike here from Malloy, and big players come up big in big moments. Takes the game by the scruff of the neck, puts it in the back of the net from around 25 yards.
Juan David Torres nearly put Charleston ahead off a free kick, off the post, and then off the hand of Eric Dick. Johnny Klein followed up. Dick on his backside made the stop again. Juan David Torres was all over the place, and it's fitting that in the 80th minute, he gets the assist. Jennings times up the run, redeems himself for the missed penalty, and he puts his side ahead with his 4th consecutive game scoring a goal.
Everything fell into place at the right time. The timing of the run, the timing of the pass, and Jennings' composure and quality in the finish.
Our full-time stats brought to you by Gildan. 18 shot attempts, 8 on target, just 2 on target on 5 attempts for Pittsburgh. Possession heavily in favor of Charleston, 9 corners to 2. This is the result that Ben Pierman's side deserved.
Yeah, we spoke about being a little uncharacteristic of Pittsburgh Riverhounds' defense to allow so many shots. They got what they deserved at the end of the game. They could have got away with something when they took away the go-ahead goal, but unfortunately on the night, Charleston were the better team.
Pittsburgh up next in the Open Cup at Columbus Crew 2, 6 o'clock start on Tuesday. Open Cup action as well for Charleston right here at Patriots Point. 7:30 kick on Tuesday against South Georgia Tormenta. Tonight, Charleston earns the first victory of the season in the battle for the Old Guard Shield. For Chris Nurse and our entire USL Championship crew, this is Josh Appel saying so long from Charleston. Aaron Malloy, the equalizer. Cal Jennings, the game winner. And 3 points to Charleston. We'll talk to you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.